What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Kevin with Optimized Essentials, and in today's video, we're going to talk about sexual frustration and how to turn your sexual frustration into successful frustration. Now, I've mentioned this concept multiple times in my videos. If you follow me, if you're subscribed, if you're not, please do so. You're going to see some amazing stuff coming up in the future. I talk about the concept of sexual transmutation a lot. Reason being, I've used sexual transmutation in so many areas of my life, and it has helped me tremendously, okay? From becoming more masculine, from becoming more successful, more confident, more driven, more ambitious, more magnetic, sexually attractive. If you like what you see, I'm a byproduct of sexual transmutation, semen retention, nofap, right? I first started this journey in 2017. In 2017, maybe even earlier, I learned about it, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 11, Sexual Transmutation, maybe in 2016, early 20s. And I practiced this when I was a personal trainer, right? And my goal starting off was to find a girlfriend, because when I learned about sex transmutation and I found out that you could become more attractive via nofap and semen retention, the first thing I did was I wanted to manifest a girlfriend, right? I wanted to find a girlfriend to consistently have sex with. And long story short, I think in around 2017, that's when I had my first relationship, a year-long relationship, and my goal was achieved. But what I wanted to talk about in this video was sexual frustration, okay? A lot of guys, they're sexually frustrated. A lot of guys are feeling the sexual impulse, feeling the sexual desire, the dragon of sexual energy, and they waste that desire. They waste that impulse, that creative impulse, that drive of all humans, of all life forms, right? To procreate. They waste that energy and they don't know how to turn it into something better, okay? Your sexual frustration could be used for a higher purpose. If you're sexually frustrated, just like I was when I was trying to find a girlfriend, right? Well, this was actually in college, so this was probably even a few months or a year before that period. I was sexually frustrated, meaning I would have all these sexual cravings, these sexual desires. Maybe my hormones were off because I didn't learn about the power of nutrition, which I've talked about multiple times on my channel, and the way it affects your behavior, how nutrition affects your hormones, right? My chemicals were all out of whack, and as a result, I was like horny all the time, right? Well, at least not horny all the time, but like most of the time. And I couldn't find a girlfriend. I couldn't find someone to have sex with, right? So most guys nowadays, what they're doing or what's happening to them is they're getting sexual impulses. They're getting sexual desire. The energy of the life force is rousing within them, and they can't find a real girl to have sex with. Or better yet, or worse yet, they go to an adult website, a porn site, and bust a nut, right? So instead of seeking to become a better man that women want to be with and sleep with, or to actually put in the work to find someone in real life, what they're doing is they're feeding that sexual frustration, or mitigating it, or what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of just trying to dissipate it or feed that need of sexual desire through porn, right? And I want to let you know, you could turn your sexual frustration, your desire for sex, your desire for a female, your desire for a hot girl, right? You could turn that energy, that desire, that sexual energy into something better, okay? And this is the essence of sexual transmutation. Now I want to read you something from Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 11, okay? I'll read a few things. He says this: scientific research has disclosed these significant facts. The men of greatest achievements are men with highly developed sex natures, men who have learned the art of sex transmutation. The men who have accumulated great fortunes and achieved outstanding recognition in literature, art, industry, architecture, and the professions were motivated by the influence of a woman, right? The emotion of sex is an irresistible force against which there can be no opposition, no such opposition as an immovable body. When driven by this emotion, men become gifted with a superpower for action. Understand this truth and you will catch the significance of the statement that sex transmutation will lift one to the status of a genius. Okay? And then one more thing. He says, the emotion of sex contains the secret of creative ability. Now, think about what sexual energy is. Think about what sexual desire is. It's that emotion that we feel when there's someone or something that provokes the life force within us, our chemistry, the body's desire, the life force energy, the body's innate wisdom to want to procreate, right? Or we see something that arouses a primal essence within us that wants to essentially experience another life form, right? It happens to everything. Those cats, those dogs, the lions, the cougars, they see another animal and they want to mount that animal. A human sees another human that's attractive. Maybe they like the energy within their body. Maybe some of you faggots are looking at me and getting aroused. Oh, right? So when you see something, another life form that triggers an arousal of your life force energy, you want to mesh with it and create something. It's a creative energy. Life force energy is creative. You were a byproduct of sexual energy. Your mom and your dad, whoever saw whoever first, was attracted to each other, or maybe one was attracted and the other one doesn't, and it was like a plant, it was like a dance, right? The yin and the yang, the masculine and the feminine. But essentially what it is, it's creative energy seeking expression. Because if there was no creative energy, there was no sexual desire amongst us, life would not progress. So he says it's an irresistible force against which there can be no such opposition, meaning it is ingrained within our physiology, and you cannot deny this, right? You cannot deny that we have sexual impulse. But what you can do is you can transmute that sexual impulse. So instead of always seeking to express this energy via a sexual way, this creative energy via a sexual way, you can turn it into successful desires, okay? Instead of sexual desires, transmutation is turning into successful desires, all right? And then, look, he also mentions here that there are 10 mind stimuli. I'm not going to read all of them, right? But he says the human mind's response to stimuli, through which it may be keyed up to higher rates of vibration, known as enthusiasm, creative imagination, intense desire, etc. And then the stimuli, which the mind responds to freely, and then he lists 10, right? For example, the desire for sex expression, love, music, etc. The desire for sexual expression is the highest amongst the list, meaning when you feel sexual energy, when you feel sexual desire, that increases the rate of vibration of your mind the fastest, the most. And he also says that increasing your vibrational frequency or increasing the rate of vibration is what allows someone to go from an average Joe into a genius, how to unlock your inner genius via sex transmutation, right? So instead of wasting your sexual energy, that sexual impulse, if you learn to transmute it and turn it into something better, you can unlock the inner genius within you. He calls it the state of genii, right? Let's see if there's anything else I want to read here. Okay, we'll read one last thing. He says, the desire for sexual expression is by far the strongest and most impelling of all the human emotions. And for this very reason, when harnessed and transmuted into action, other forms other than that of physical expression may raise one to a status of genius. So instead of expressing it via the physical channel of busting a nut, if you can learn to harness that energy within your body and transmute it into a different form, you will be compelled to take action, okay? You will go from sexually frustrated to successfully frustrated. Think about all the high-level people that are driven to achieve great heights, to achieve higher levels of success because of sexual energy. Maybe they want to experience 10 out of 10s, right? Higher quality females. Or maybe they want to do it to impress females. Like, think about how many people or how many things you've done in the name of sex, right? I've asked this before for guys who've watched my stuff. Like, what have you done in the name of sex? What type of simping behaviors have you done to win over a girl? Have you driven her to work? Have you picked her up, bought her flowers, bought her teddy bears, done X, Y, and Z, bent over backwards, stepped out of your frame as a man, stepped out of your element in order to please her. How many times have you done something in the name of sex, whether it be paying for OnlyFans, paying for porn, etc., right? Guys will go out of their way to do things to get sex. So imagine you took that same desire that you have for sex, that sexual energy that you have, that sexual desire, that sexual frustration if you can't find any woman to have sex with. Imagine you took that same desire and you transformed it into your desire to become a better man, to achieve more success in your career, in your business, in your finances, your professional career. What if you had that same energy, that same desire, but instead of relentlessly going after a girl or wanting a girl, that same emotion that you have for wanting sexual encounters, you transmute that and you transform it into going after what you want. And that's exactly what I've done. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing, right? Instead of constantly thinking about how can I have sex with women, instead of constantly thinking about how can I find a girl to have sex with, I'm not saying I'm not attracted to women, right? If there's a beautiful girl in front of me, I'll be attracted to her. But I'm not incessantly thinking about this on my spare time, as most guys are. In fact, I get very little sexual desire. My sexual energy is automatically converted into, one, spiritual energy, ojas, because I do breath work, but it's automatically converted into the desire in terms of success. How can I move ahead? How can I get ahead in life? How can I achieve my goals? I keep thinking about this stuff the same way I've obsessed about getting a girl in the past. When I was sexually frustrated in the past, I was always thinking about how can I find a girl? Who can I talk to? Who can I approach? Right? Now it's like, what videos do I have to make? What can I do to boost my channel up? How can I get more subscribers? How can I get more followers? How can I get more views? Right? Now I know some guys will be like, oh, he just cares about that. But think about it. I've changed one desire. I transmute it into another. And that's exactly what Napoleon Hill in his book, Think and Grow Rich, talks about. You can use your sex drive to drive you to great heights because it's creative energy. It's sexual energy. Sexual energy is creative energy. If you retain your semen and you do nofap and you do it properly, keyword properly, that energy, and you give it another form, which he talks about here, outlet. Look, a river may be dammed and its water may be controlled for a time, but eventually it will force an outlet. The same is true for the emotion of sex. It may be submerged and controlled for a time, but the very nature causes it to be ever-seeking means of expression. If it is not transmuted into some creative effort, it will find a less worthy outlet. All right. Fortunate indeed is the person who discovered how to give sex emotion an outlet through some form of creative effort, for he has, by that discovery, lifted himself to a state of genius. Because if you have a sexual impulse, sexual desire that creates a vibration within your body, and you're like, I gotta find a bathroom, I gotta find a girl to fuck, right? And you take the energy, you let it build up in your cells, you transmute it, you consciously redirect that energy, you allow it to accumulate within your body, and then you transmute it into an activity like making a video, or making a course, or making a business, or pursuing a skill set, or working out, etc. Now, instead of directing that energy down through the penis, through the, not vagina, or like sexual organs, you now allow the energy to accumulate, build up, and be transmuted into another form. So that same pressure, that same vibration that you're feeling in your body gets to grow and expand, which is why so many brahmacharis, monks, practice celibacy for spiritual growth, because that energy can be transmuted from jing, dense form, to chi, to shen. Ice, water, steam. Ice, water, steam, right? Liquid, no, solid, liquid, gas, right? It could be transformed from a solid to a liquid to a form of gas, and that's your shen, that's your spirit, right? So when you practice sexual transmutation properly, and you turn your desire for sex, for sexual expression, into something else, you will have higher levels of success, right? Not higher levels of sex, right? But that too, potentially, but you'll have higher levels of success because you're fueling that endeavor with creative energy, with sexual energy. And sexual energy has a high rate of vibration because everyone responds to sexual energy. It's the primal essence that created all of us. So the more of it you have, but the more of it you're channeling within your work, the more attractive, more magnetic, more successful, more powerful you'll become. Okay, and if you have not checked out my masterclass, it's 2 hours long. I give you examples of high-level people who have used sexual transmutation in the practice. More specifically, fighters, boxers, right? I throw in LeBron James in there, Muhammad Ali, some of the greats within the field understand the power of sex transmutation, which is why so many athletes practice this, because it gives them an unfair advantage. Okay, so check out my masterclass. If you don't know what sexual transmutation is, I have a free course on that, sexualmanifestation.com/free course. All the links should be down below. Check out Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, Chapter 11, The Mystery of Sex Transmutation, which I demystify in the masterclass. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you want to get coaching, book a call. It's 45 minutes. We'll discuss your goals, whether or not you're a good fit. If not, I'll let you know. And then also, if you're ready to just hop on in because you've done nofap and semen retention before and you're not having much success, just get my course, Sexual Manifestation. It's an investment for sure, but it's a fraction of most people's paychecks, and what you will learn will forever change your life. I teach you my breathwork protocols that I use to transmute my sexual energy right then and there, meaning when I get sexual impulses, instead of finding a thing to bust a nut in, what I do is I harness the energy, I breathe, I transmute it, I dissipate that sexual desire right then and there so that I don't have to be controlled by the dragon of desire, right? I teach guys how to find a higher purpose ultimately, because if you don't have a higher purpose, you're going to fail. How to eat, what diet to follow so that you have the highest levels of hormones so that you have controllable sexual urges. Most guys who have uncontrollable sexual urges do not follow or do not eat properly, so their sexual energy is all over the place. Training principles, how to program your subconscious mind, how to balance out your chakras, how to develop your masculinity. So much stuff in that program, right? It's my life's work, Sexual Manifestation. The name, Sexual Manifestation, really think about it. It's sexual man to begin with. And then once you've built up enough energy in your body, sexual energy within your body, it begins to manifest. Right? It begins to manifest in its own way. And the way I like to describe this is like a flower blooming, right? A tree blooming, growing fruits. And this sexual manifestation applies to all men. Once you have an abundance of sexual energy within your body, it will seek to express itself in its own unique individual way. And that is the power of sexual transmutation and why I named it Sexual Manifestation. So guys, have a good one. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, thumbs up, drop some comments down below to boost the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.